All right. I didn't really even know what this was gonna be, but I mean, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I had a thought though while I was rapping. I was, and this was just like from a freestyle, but it's just like it's like, uh, I don't know, freestyle words and sober thoughts. Um, but what I said was, I just forget shit all the time, bro. Let's see actually where my ADHD takes me. As I sigh, I'm off the dry, and I can't, and I'm still in freestyle mode, bro. I just can't get out of freestyle mode. It is so hard to fucking freestyle, bro. I swear. And like I tried to do this podcast shit, and last video I realized that I wasn't talking enough. It's like when you're not talking enough, I feel like I always have to talk to make shit interesting. But it's like, here's what I was gonna say. Every time that you try to be someone else, and that means that you're not comfortable enough being yourself. That shit's a bar. That shit's a bar. And it's not even a bar. It's just like facts. It's so facts in that it's like, if someone told it to me, they were preaching to the choir. But I'm telling it to you, and it's just like, people just have to be, I mean, this is like me. I'm talking to y'all, but I'm not even talking to anyone right now. But I'm talking to people, and it's like, the thing is, anytime I'm talking to y'all, quote unquote y'all, I'm really talking to myself. And this is just, this whole thing is just me fucking talking to myself, bro, I swear. Oh my gosh. Actually, I thought I'd hate work, but I'm actually really enjoying it. It's whatever. It's like, there's some days that, like, I'm actually there and it's chill. It's like my boys there working there too, and it's like I'm making not good money. I mean, shit, like someone would even call it poverty level money. But it's like you just got to do what you got to do. And I'm just like put my head down, trying to get this work done. It's like I think what I really need to learn most in life is just patience. It's like I can get so existential, and it's the times when actually the thing is when you get existential, that's how you know you need to get a job. Unless like your shit's fried. Unless you are down a path where you have a job and your mind is still racing and you're just like, holy shit, I'm a loser. If you have a 9 to 5 and you're telling yourself that you're a loser, then you're an actual loser. And it's not even like, it could be the fact where it's like you aren't actually a loser, but that way of thinking, you're gonna turn into a loser, and it's gonna be real quick. And that's just like, I don't know. I hope I don't get to that place. Or if I do, that's how I know I need a major life switch. Like I gotta like quit my job, travel the world, become homeless, but not like homeless. I'm talking about like vagabond homeless, like that manga. Actually, no, not even the manga. Like the definition of the word. And like that'd be dope. Just like traveling across the entire world. No, like being totally free of everything and all that shit, and just like no worries. But it's like I was thinking about it last night because I'm like, holy shit, like maybe I should honestly just like run away. Which that's also a bad thing to think, because it's if you never face your problems, you're never gonna grow. And it's like it's so tempting, especially for me in my life, to just run away from problems, bro. Like, and it's like the running away part, it's like you think it'll be chill, and honestly thinking back of like when I dropped out of college, I kind of was just running away. I mean, shit's done, it's whatever. I gotta be grateful for the decision I made, because it was made for a reason. But like, oh my gosh, it's not even that bad. It does get me though, because like sometimes if I don't do that shit right, then it just burns the back of my throat, and I feel like my throw up. Kind of reminds me of Zens. I cannot handle Zen at all. Oh my gosh, that shit fucks me up. People are gonna say like, oh my gosh, Rich, you're such a fucking pussy, because actually fuck that. Fuck myself for even telling myself that. You know what, Rex, you're goated. You're the goat. Keep balling. Alright, I'm just gonna keep balling, even though I can't ball for shit. That's not even me. Like, what's the opposite of gassing yourself up? Whatever. That's what I'm doing, but that's not what I'm actually doing there. That's just me being honest. Like, although really what it comes down to when you're playing basketball is, if you're trash at basketball, it's not even that you're trash at basketball, because every single human, unless like you're in a wheelchair, and I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about like cripple basketball. I'm talking about you have to run and use your legs basketball. So those are two different sports. Because one, you just have to wheel yourself around. The other, it's like you can do whatever the fuck you want. No, whatever the fuck you want. Oh yeah. Oh no, yeah. You can't do whatever the fuck you want because it's like whatever. I don't know. Just dribble the ball. But the problem, if you're bad at basketball, the only thing you have to do is, it's not a problem of you being bad at basketball. Even if you can't shoot, even if you can't even make a layup, the problem is it isn't you actually being bad. Even if you are bad, you're not that bad. No one's that bad. The reason why people are bad at basketball is because they don't have enough confidence in themselves that they can actually do it. They don't believe in themselves enough that they can do it. And if you're saying that I'm wrong, I want you to ball hog. Honestly, the way to get over being bad at basketball is to ball hog. And like shit, even if people don't pass you the ball, steal that shit from your teammates and try to score. And honestly, just keep on scoring because say you shoot fucking 40 shots, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're probably going to make at least 10 of those. And shit, that's like 20 points or 30 points or whatever. And it's just like, but you shot 40 times. It's all about who shoots the most. And you have to have the confidence to shoot the most. And it's just like, and you're not going to shoot, or you're not going to get those points if you keep on passing the ball. I mean, unless you're goated at assisting. But, like, I'm not, like, who cares, bro? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's like, if you go into basketball, and you're like, all I can do is fucking pass the ball to other people, and I can assist, and, you know, I'm a good player in that way. Man, fuck that. Have a little bit of pride. Have a little bit of ego. Stop putting yourself down that much because no one is that humble. You can use that excuse to me like, oh yeah, blah, 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 you know, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pass the ball because I'm a team player and shit like that. You're not a team player. You're a bitch, and that just isn't said enough, bro. Everyone is prideful. I mean, you know, it's just human nature. You know, you have a pride, and it's like, it's not a good pride, you know. You want to be humble, but you also need to know how to use your ego. You know, it's not like you're going to get rid of it. It's like you can be a monk spending 40 years in a monastery and just completely devote yourself to, you know, like I just have to not humiliate myself, but I just have to be humble, you know, always put others before me. But it's like, unless you're Jesus Christ, you're never gonna be able to do that. I mean, like, you can, you know, it doesn't hurt to try, you know. You should be humble, because like it is a skill. But you know, some people mistake humility for low self-confidence, you know. And most people are at that point, and it's like the only way to learn how to have self-confidence is by being prideful, and just like trying to do shit. It's by trying, and not by trying. It's like, oh shit, wait, oh, and it's not by trying. And this comes from a guy who's, you know, experienced all this shit and just like been living life, and so this is just off the fucking dome. But it's like the only way that you are going to develop self-confidence, or not even confidence, but even, honestly, no, it is confidence. Because it's like, I think the best time when I played basketball is when, not even when I was practicing basketball. Not even then. The best time when I was playing basketball, damn, it looks like I'm fat as hell. Or like, you know, yeah, like one of those weird ass jaws. But the best time, or the best I was at basketball, is when I stopped giving a shit about basketball and just like, man, fuck this. No one's passing me the ball. I'm just going to ball hog. And then I actually started scoring points. And people were like, oh, damn, I didn't know Rex actually had that in him. And it's like, it's when you ball hog, bro. It's then, because then people are only seeing the outside. They're not seeing the inside, where it's just like, oh, I'm just going to, you know, assist. And then when all you do is pass the ball, one day you're actually someone's going to pass it to you. No, not even one day. This happens all the time. Someone's going to pass you the ball, and then you're going to try to shoot because there's no one else to pass it to, and you shoot out of fear, and then you're not going to make it, and people are going to be like, damn, that was an ass shot. I'm never going to pass them the ball ever again. So here's what you do. You look at the ball, no matter who has it, just try and get it, no matter what. Even if it's your own teammate, steal that shit out of their hands. Just take it, and then drive it down the court. If you get blocked or whatever, or if you get completely embarrassed, that's not your problem. That's your team's problem, right? And who gives a shit about your team? It's all about you. And so even if that happens a million times, after that happens once, I mean, why would they even pass it to you again? So you just have to keep on stealing the ball. And then when they sub you out, fuck it. Fuck them. They sub you out, and then just try to find another group of people and keep on doing that like over and over and over. And honestly, you'll be surprised that until like probably 10 of those. Honestly, I think 10 of those, and people. No, okay. After 10 of those games where people keep on subbing you out, and who gives a shit? Well, after 10 of those, you're actually probably gonna become you're gonna know how to handle the ball a lot better with confidence too, and then you're gonna start become at the very least an average player. And you know what? I would rather have an ass player, or even just like a mediocre or average player who has a ton of confidence, than a skilled guy with low confidence who has a fear of shooting. You know what I'm saying? It's like you miss every shot you don't take, but then also it's like, and then you can think this way, and then you'll get teammates and oh, you know what? I'd be good if they passed me the ball more, and blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, I mean that's true. That is true. You would be good more if your teammates passed you the ball, but they're not. So fuck them. Literally just fuck them. So go and steal that ball. And honestly, you know what? We're not even talking about basketball here. Go and steal the ball for yourself. Fail over and over and over, because that's the only way you're gonna get better. And this was from Steve Harvey, fucking reel that I saw. He said that I didn't do that shit right. He said that only man in your life who wishes you to be better than him is your father, right? That's the only guy. And you're not playing basketball with your father. You're playing basketball with all these other guys who just want to be better than you. Everyone wants the ball. Everyone wants everything. But what are you willing to do for it? Are you willing to be that asshole on the court that steals the ball from your teammates, right? You steal the ball from your teammates. And then, then you think it's like, oh, well, why is he stealing the ball from me? Blah, blah, blah. Well, everyone wants the ball. Even in a team sport, think about this shit. Everyone wants the ball. And the people who are trash at the game and who are never going to score any points are the people who are afraid of having the ball and don't want it because they're too scared, and they're too scared of themselves to even be like, oh my gosh, if I get this ball, I'm just going to be trash, and then everyone's going to make fun of me and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, have everyone make fun of you. Have them sub you out or whatever. Go find another group of people and steal the ball from your teammates. That is my advice. Steal the ball from your teammates. Steal the ball steal ball when you can, obviously, but it's like, okay, if you devote yourself trying to get the ball and you try and get the ball, you're going to get the ball eventually, and it's like, it's just rinse and repeat, be a ball hog, because, I found in my time or whatever, and like I said, we're not talking about basketball here, but I found in my time that, damn, I look like a fat chug whenever I put the mic over that, like that, honestly. And this goes for everything. And this is me calling myself a fat chud just right then just reminded me of that. Not even, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, just steal the ball from your teammates. And like I said, we're not talking about basketball. And, this is what I was going to think. The times when I am most successful, when I am, okay, right now, all right, we're not talking about basketball, but I'm just using this as a metaphor. But this happens, all my basketball experience is real, right? But when you think about the game of basketball, it converts pretty much very similarly over to the game of real life, right? But think about this. The time when I am most successful in basketball is when I don't give a shit, right? But if you really don't give a shit, then you don't give a shit about giving the ball. Okay, here's another thing. Everyone gives a shit, whether they like it or not. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna give a shit, right? And so the thing is that, you can gesture, Max. You can just do the thing where it's like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking like I'm not gonna give a shit about the game. I'm gonna get the ball and just troll. I'm gonna shoot fucking like half court shots and like, you know, like do goofy ass tricks and blah 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 blah. But you know, even those people who don't give a shit about the game and who like just do it for fun, I mean, that's gonna go well for a little bit because it's like, you know, people are gonna pass the ball to you because they think that you're funny, right? They pass the ball to you. They think you're funny, and because, you know, people just want amusement. That's all. People just want to be better in life, and then people just want amusement in life. So they're going to pass the ball to you for a little bit and be just like, you know, this is actually pretty funny. But no one's going to take you seriously. And no one's going to, and every time when it comes to something serious in life, you know, it's like comedy movies, you know? Like, you know, you for a little bit, people are going to be in the mood for a comedy movie, right? People are going to be in the mood and they just want to laugh for a bit. But the best movies are the people who are serious. You know what I'm saying? It's when you're serious. So it's like people are going to pass the ball to you for a little bit because it's like, oh, you know, they want to laugh for a little bit. But when it comes to an actual game that's like, and you know, the best games, oh shit. Actually, hold on. Oh gosh, I got to move this shit out of the way, bro. The best games are the ones where everyone cares, you know? It's like when everyone's taking the game serious, then that's how you know you have a good game. And people want to watch that game, you know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, but it's like, it's really what you care about, you know? It's like, if you don't care about the sport at all, and whatever, then just troll. But like when it comes to like playing with friends or whatever, or like say like you actually do like basketball, you know, it's just like you're just trying to build the courage up to play the game. And remember, we're not talking about basketball here, but you're just trying to build the courage to play the game. Then, hold on, reverse. That's the point. We're not talking about basketball here, and you're thrown into this game called life, right? You know. And if like no matter what, you can troll, you know, you can gesture max for a little bit, and you know, no one's really gonna care. People are gonna laugh, and you know, they'll pass you the ball for a little bit because, you know, they think you're funny and they want to see something funny, and then it's like, then every once in a while, every like 1 out of 10 stupid ass moves that you do, you make a shot, and they're like, you actually made it, blah blah blah. And so it's like, okay, like cool, whatever. It when it actually matters, you know, when it's a time where it actually matters, no one's gonna pass you the ball because they think that you're just gonna troll, you know. When it comes down to an important moment, and if it's an important moment in the game, if it's an important moment in life, then it's an important moment for you, you know. And sometimes that important moment can make or break your entire life. But that's the thing, though. People think that they just get one shot. No, you get however many shots you make for yourself. If you try to think about it, bro, you try and steal the ball, you try and get it, even going so far to slime out your teammates to get that ball because you're that much of a hustler, right? And that's what hustlers do. And hustlers, no matter what, they're gonna get bread and they're gonna make money. And the most successful people in the world are hustlers, right? They work for it. I mean, and you see this too. It's like, well, why are so many successful people sociopaths? Why are they psychopaths or whatever? And like, why do they just not, they care about people and even friends and family just a little bit less than everyone else. You know, it's because they're willing to do anything for the ball. They're willing to do anything for those shots, you know. It's like, yeah, sure, you know, they're the people who like, and this isn't what I'm saying. I'm not saying, you know, throw out your morals, you know. I mean, you can do that, and you probably will be successful. And you know what? Anyone can probably be successful nowadays, especially like for girls, you know. It's like, oh, throw your fucking morality out the window. Who gives a shit? I'm just going to do OnlyFans and make porn all day and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Those girls are going to make it. They really are. And they're not going to have to worry a single day in their lives of money. But in life, you know, to really be put in the professional games that people care about, you got to play by the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be a professional street ball player. Don't get me wrong. You really can. But if you want to make it, you got to, you know, you want to go to the NBA. And when you're in the NBA, you got to play by the rules. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a professional game, you gotta play by the rules. We're not talking about basketball here. And so yeah. But it's like, think about it. It's like, say you're the Joker. People are gonna pass the ball to you when they want to laugh, but they're never gonna pass the ball to you when they actually trust you to make a shot. If they trust you to make a shot, or if they want to actually win, if you're on a team with people and you want to actually win, you're not going to pass the ball to the Joker, because he's just going to pull it from half court or do some goofy ass layup that he'd never make, 360, windmill, try and dunk, even though he's like 5 feet tall. It's like, who gives a shit? But when it's a shot that matters, that actually matters, you're going to pass the ball to a person who you have faith is going to make it. And so you ask yourself, how do I become the person who people pass the ball to, And I'll tell you how. The first thing you need to do if you want to get good at basketball is you have to be a ball hog, And even if you're low confidence, just be a ball hog, And it's like, because you're going out of your nature. You're going past the boundaries. Remember the box I was talking about in the last video? Well, this is how you get out of the box. You face your fears, Who gives a shit whether you make it or not? You're doing anything you can to get your hands on that ball, because the only way you can practice day and night anytime you want, right? But the only time that really matters, and the only practice that really okay, I won't lie. All practice counts. But you're never going to get better if you don't have the confidence to play in a real game. You can practice, I could go out shooting all I want. I could shoot 1,000 baskets a day, and I'll be better at shooting, but it's the shooting's only going to matter if I have the confidence to actually shoot in a real game, That's one way to do it. That really is one way to do it. You could really, you could devote all your time to getting better, to practice all the time. But in the end, it's going to take, it's still going to be a struggle, and you're still going to have to face yourself, You could be the most you could be the least confident, most, social anxiety person ever. Oh my gosh. Be the most social anxiety person ever. You have zero faith. Then you're not going to perform well. You're just not. And the only way, and the people who are good, actually, we're not even talking about the greats. We're talking about the people who are good at the game. The people who are good at the game have confidence, and they face themselves where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to try and shoot a shot. To be good at basketball, and we're not talking about basketball here, remember. To be good at basketball, you have to try, And the people, and let's take it back a few steps, Remember what I was saying? It's like the people, the most successful people in life are the people who, no, actually, hold on, scratch that. Let me think. Okay, to be successful in life, here's the thing. I think anyone can be successful in life. Anyone, no matter who you are, you can be successful in your life. Now, talent does come in a factor, right? Talent does matter, right? But the only thing is, when it comes to talent versus hard work, well, you just got to put in the hard work, And if you're talented and have hard work, those people make it, Those people go very far. But say you don't have talent, and few people do have talent when it comes to basketball, or we're not talking about basketball, but and you can have any talent you want in life, but it's still, let's go back to basketball, let's just think about that. But you can be talented at the game, but if remember, you can be talented at the game, but if you don't have the confidence at all, then who gives a shit? You're not gonna make the shots. No one cares. You're gonna keep on getting subbed out. No one's gonna give you a shot. And the thing is, and this is where I was going with this, is that the most successful people in the game. We're not talking about basketball here. We're just talking about the game, right? The game. The most successful people is the people who give themselves the most shots. If you give yourself the most shots to be successful, I mean, sure, you'd fail like 100 times, but though, I mean, like, you're still gonna make shots, you know. Actually, say you shoot 100 shots, you know, in a game. I mean, statistically, even if you have a 1% fucking whatever, 1% shooting chance or whatever the fuck, you're still gonna make one shot, right? And that one shot can make it where it's like, oh, you know what? I made one shot. You know, the first shot's the hardest to get out of the way. Once you make one shot, you can make another shot. And once you make, the whole point is, though, you just have to keep on putting shots up. Keep on putting shots up. And damn. And that's real for everything, you know. For girls, you just got to keep on putting shots up. That's true for successful opportunities. You just got to keep on putting shots up. And sometimes you're in a stage where people won't even give you the shot. People won't even give you a shot because they don't believe in you. They don't even have faith. And maybe they have a reason not to have faith in you, you know. Maybe you're actually just that trash at the game. But the whole thing is if it is that bad, and even if it's not that bad, I think you should still do this. But whatever it looks like, steal the ball from your teammates, you know, because you're not going to get better unless you keep on giving yourself a shot, you know. It's like, and that's the whole thing. It's like, oh man, I wish someone would just give me a shot, you know. It's like, I wish someone would just give me a shot. Well, if no one gives you a shot, then you got to take matters in your own hands, and you need to you need to give yourself a shot. Because it's like, sometimes that just happens, you know. It's like sometimes oh damn, I got a frame mog. Sometimes that shit just happens. Like, no one really is gonna give you a shot. I mean, shit. I remember, like, that was a time in my life. You know, okay, we're going back to basketball, but remember, we're not talking about basketball. But that was a time where it's like, when I was playing basketball, like, okay, or this was a time when I was playing basketball, no one would give me a fucking shot because I was ass. I mean, I'm trash as hell at the game. But the times when I was best at the game, and when people were like, damn, bro, this guy's like Wembanyama, is when what? Okay, never mind. Sorry. I was looking at something. But the times when I was best at the game was when I was like, you know, fuck it. I'm just gonna steal the ball. Shit. I'm just gonna steal the ball from my teammates. I'm just gonna, like, every time I get the ball, fuck my teammates. They don't exist. It's 1v5 right now. And honestly, that's really the way the world works, you know. When you think about life, no one's on your team. I mean, you know, like I said, it's like maybe one person's on your team, and that's actually two people are on your team. Okay, actually, that's kind of true. Usually two people on your team, and that's your mom and your dad. Unless, and sometimes some people don't even get that. Sometimes it really is a 1v everyone else, you know, 1v7 billion. That's just how it is. And the only way that, you know, okay, actually, let's tie these in together, right? It is a 1v7 billion game out there, right? And it's not even a real game. It's a 1v7 billion, and we're playing 21, right? 1v7 billion, and you're playing 21. That means that out of these 7 billion people, very few of them are going to get the ball. So what do you got to do? Well, no matter what kind of game you're playing, you know, maybe you made a group and you have a team in this game of 21 where it's like, you know, you grouped up with these people and you're all trying to get the ball, right? And it's like, and that's honestly how it usually goes. When one person gets the ball, and so, no, it is actually like this. If it works out for both of y'all, if one person gets the ball, right, you're not, like, say you have the ball, right? You're not going to pass the ball to someone that you don't know. You know, you're more likely to pass the ball to someone that you do know, you know, someone that you actually fuck with, like one of your friends or some shit like that, right? You're going to pass the ball to one of your friends, and then that's how you make that shit. You know, it's like these famous people, say a guy, say you made it, right? You made it, and let's use this for fucking example, right? If you make it, you have the ball, right? If you make it and you have the ball, then you can give the ball to whoever else you want. You know, say you made it, or you have the ball, you made a shot, boom, you made it, right? You're going to the big leagues. You made the shot, blah blah blah. Everyone's like, oh, glazing you and blah blah blah. It's like the only way you can be famous or make it or make a ton of money or whatever is by getting the ball from someone, you know? And well, actually not, you know, some like what we were saying, it's like sometimes you have to steal the ball from someone else or you have to steal that shit. And the ball isn't a ball. The ball is opportunity. You have to make your own opportunity. You have to steal opportunity if you really have to. I mean, you know, nepotism is a real thing, you know? Sometimes your parents have the ball, and they're just like, man, I want my son to score. So, you know, they're going to pass you the ball because it's just like, that's how that shit works. And actually, that's why, you know, nepotism works so well. It's because they don't stop passing the ball. You know, once you make it, once you go to the big leagues and like you're chill, like you don't even care about the game anymore, right? But you do care about your teammates. It gets to a point where it's like, you know what? I've scored enough. You know, I got like fucking like 40 points in the first half. I've scored enough. You know what? Now it's time for me to pass the ball. And then whoever you're going to keep on passing it to, like if you want a person to score, you're going to keep on passing it to that same person, no matter what. And if and you're going to tell him, you're going to be like, bro, once I pass you the ball, don't pass it. No matter what you do, don't pass it until you have enough points. I mean, that's just how this shit goes in life. You know, you just have to have enough points and do this and that. And you know what? It does, it works out every once in a while, you know, where it's like, I don't know anyone, but people like say in the 7 billion v whatever game to 21, you know, some people are going to stick out. Some people are going to stick out where you're just like, whoa, like that, like you're dribbling the ball and it's like, you know, it's like, and it's, okay, it's weird because it's not even, life is a lot more complicated because it's not even like a game to 21 because not everyone's really on by themselves. But it's like your team is however many, like there's no, it's not like a 5-person limit on your team. Your team is really however big you want it to be, right? And some people, and you're going to see a person who's like, damn, like that person's like, has skills, bro. Like he can shoot and shit or like, and they don't even know, but like, it's weird. Like they have, they've practiced, you know, but also they have the confidence to, put their practice into principle or whatever, or actually they have the confidence to put their practice into practice. You know what I'm saying? And so they see that they see that they can score and they can shoot and they can do all this shit, you know, and they can and the best players are the ones who like I think of fucking like LaMelo Ball, you know, people, he's not even that good. Well, for an NBA player, he's not even that good. No, okay, whatever, who cares? But the thing that people love about him so much, why he's one of the biggest superstars in the NBA and why everyone just like fucks with him, is because he can be good and a troll at the same time. Those people, those are like the comedians of the world, of the fucking like funny content creators that, you know, you're gonna keep on watching because they have skill and they have the ability to be funny, you know. And those people are like the people that make like great friends and everyone wants to be their friend, and because like they're just like funny and shit and blah 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 blah. But if you're not naturally funny, you know, if you can't do this shit, if you can't do that shit, blah blah blah, then the whole point is, it's like if you just sulk, you know, two things are gonna happen. People are gonna see you sulking on the court, and then they're gonna be like, why the fuck would I pass it to that guy? And then people are gonna be like, well, this guy's not even like playing the game. Like he's just sulking, like he's not even playing the game. So like, and I have zero faith in him. Why would I even want him to shoot? And like, it's just going to be like that. And if you keep on sulking, and if you keep on putting yourself in the same position, then you're never going to move. You're never even going to have the opportunity to score. But honestly, sometimes, and actually most of the time, all it takes is one. I mean, that's the thing about this game of life. A lot of the time, like I said, bro, the first shot to score in this game is the hardest one. Oh, what? Fuck. I can't speak. But the first shot is the hardest shot to make, right, in this game. And it's just like, it just be like that. It just be like that. And it's like, you can complain however much you want about it, but that's just the way the world works. I gotta do this shit more often. That's another thing. It's like, do you trust yourself? Like when that's actually a really good point that I just thought about. When I think about trying to think about something, then I'm never going to start speaking, right? If I think like, oh, here's a thought. Oh, here's another thought. Oh, and this thought goes with that thought. You're thinking too much. It just has to be automatic. It just has to flow, bro. And the less you think, the less you think about your shots, the more shots you're going to put up. And the more shots you're going to put up, the more likely you are to make a shot. You know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about basketball here. And it's like, this guy's just what was I talking about? Oh yeah. This guy's just like, oh, this guy laughs at his own jokes and blah blah, and this guy's blah 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 blah. Who cares, bro? The whole point is like, no, everyone wants to be better than you, and so the whole point is steal the ball from your teammates. No one's giving you a shot unless you're, Jaden Smith, or unless you're like fucking like, so gonna throw all your morals out the window and be like, oh, I'm just gonna do OnlyFans. And honestly, I know people like that. I mean, I don't know them, but like, they're infamous. They're infamous around here. Yeah, really infamous. And it's like, you'll do OnlyFans. Here's an example. You'll be a good-looking guy, and then like blah blah blah. You can get girls and this and that, but then it's like you don't give a shit about your morals, and so then, oh, I'm just gonna do OnlyFans. Oh, I'm just gonna do porn and blah blah blah. And then all these people are like looking at porn and looking at your porn, doing your shit. And then you realize 90% of your audience is men, and it's like, oh shit, like the audience that's the thing, bro. When you don't care about your morals, then you can't care about your audience. And if you get a fucked up audience where it's like, oh shit, 90% of my viewers are male and they're all gay. So if I have to make in this business, and the only way I've set myself up in a position to keep going further, I have to, I have to give in to my audience, or I forgot the word, but I have to, give the people what they want. And if the people are gay, then you're gonna have to start doing gay shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, it's just like you tracked it. When you don't have morals, like I said, when you don't have morals, you're just you can't complain about your audience. And then you get to a point where it's like, here's the thing. It's like, when you first start doing this shit, when you first start putting up shots, you can't really think about how you're going to put up shots. You're just going to like, until you're at a point where you can master, like, like it's like a skill with anything, right? Like, you can't really think about what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to be stunned. Like, you're never even going to do it. You're never going to put up a shot in the first place. Like the whole thing where it's like, oh, I keep on thinking about what I'm going to talk about and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, when I just start thinking, it's like when your brain works best when you go on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, like I was saying, I forgot what I was saying. Oh shit. I remember what I was going to say. Fuck. See, there he goes. Just like in and oh damn, in and out one ear and the other, or in and out mouth, or it's like, here's the thing. This actually reminds me of that Instagram reel comment, but it's like, when the brain isn't working, when and this actually goes for a lot of men. is men. I mean, I forgot what study, and this could completely be pulled out of my ass, right? But I'm pretty sure this is real. But men are worse at multitasking, right? And so when you are completely thinking about what you are saying, or what, like, when you're actually, that's the thing. You're just like, when you're thinking, that's the task that most you're most focused on. When you're thinking, it's, unless you are a good multitasker as a male, whatever. Like, as a man, if you are a good multitasker, then whatever, but still. But if you're doing one thing, it's gonna take away talent or skill or whatever. It's gonna take the effort or energy away from the other thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like imagine, it's like, right now in my life, I want to get better at music, right? But also, I don't want to be a skinny fuck, and I gotta get back into working out. I gotta bulk, but that also takes time and energy, right? But it's hard to do both. It's not like it can't be done. It's just it requires a lot more effort and a lot more thought, and you have to be a lot more intentional about it, right? And so the whole thing is that, oh my gosh, I'm running out of breath for how fast I'm talking. It really is like the thing where it's like low battery of my mind, but then like my mouth is spitting, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that, it's just like, more you take away from one thing, the more you take away from another thing, it's like, and you can only, like, here's the thing, if you can, how do I put this? I'm trying to think of a way to put this. The best way to learn how to multitask, here it is. The best way to learn how to multitask is by getting good at one task, is by focusing on one task and then getting really good at that task to the point where it's like, oh, you don't even think about that task anymore. So then, now that I'm not thinking about that task, I can start thinking about doing this other task, right? And I can get good at this other task while I'm doing this task. It's like balancing. It's balancing. And so it's like, the less you think about one thing, the less you think about one thing, the more you can think about another thing while doing that one thing that you're really good at. You know what I'm saying? It just goes like that. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. It was like, I was talking about, I don't know, actually, no, I mean, I know him, and like, he was actually a pretty cool guy, but I mean, the dude just got roped into just like doing, just kind of not selling his soul, because I don't believe that you can sell your soul, but he got roped into, doing OnlyFans because he was like, I don't know if he was desperate for money, I mean, we're all desperate for money, but it's like, you have to be another type of desperate to really sell everything that you have, I mean, it's like, you're not giving everything, I guess, because it's like, you still have all you have though is your thoughts. That's really all you have left. If you just give your body away for free, you're giving everything away for free. I mean, or not for free, I guess, you're getting money for it, but it's just like, whatever, bro. Whatever. Everyone has a comfort level, has their own comfort level of how to make money, right? And, I think that, I don't know. Everyone has their own comfort level of how to make money, and they can do whatever they want, but that doesn't make it the right thing to do, It's like, and there are times when I think that you should be pushed out of your comfort zone, to make money, in the most righteous way possible, right? But some people are a little too comfortable, if you know what I'm saying. Some people are just a little too comfortable, where it's like, okay, you're this comfortable with doing this thing, and you don't care, and you don't give a shit. Maybe you should dial it back a little bit. Maybe you should just dial it back. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. Whatever. You can do whatever you want. But, I mean, here I am. I mean, I'm still pretty much broke, and you're getting mad paid. But at the end of the day, it's like, whatever, bro. You see one guy playing with the ball, and he's putting up shots. He's getting the money. He's giving himself the chance to do opportunity, but it's also like, here's another thing. Let's say, like, when it comes to a game of opportunity, I'm sorry if it's hard to hear or whatever. It's raining outside and thundering. But when it comes to the game of life, and say the ball is opportunity, there's let's to make life as fair as possible. Even though people say life isn't fair all the time, but to make this fair, cause whatever. There's multiple baskets, right? And some people, here's what I'm trying to say. It's easy to score when you don't care about the basket that you're scoring on. Some people just go for the closest basket they can find. And that's fun, but it makes it a little, like, it takes away from it a little bit more, Here, like, because you could have a guy, say, all the way back there, right? And the basket is all the way over there. And there's thousands of baskets closer to him, but he wants that one. He wants that one, and he's making it known to everybody that I don't want any of these other baskets. I want that one. And it's like everyone's gonna be like, well, it's like, you should be happy with what you have. Just put your ball in this basket, and just be done with it. But he doesn't listen. He keeps on dribbling the ball. He gets past all these people. He gets the ball. Blah 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 blah. He finally puts the ball in the basket that you want to, and people are gonna be like, damn, that was impressive. That was impressive. So I saw that once, and that was pretty impressive. So I'm gonna give him a chance to put the ball in the same basket that he wanted to put it in. And then when you put the ball in one basket you want to, it's easy to put the ball in another basket you want to. Not because it's like something where it's like, it's because they practice putting the ball into where they wanted it to go. I mean, that's a skill in itself, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, if you practice, it's like, you could say like, oh, like I practice this skill for a long time, and I'm gonna do this. Okay, and then I'm gonna devote 10 years to get what I'm trying to say here. I practiced 10 years trying to get the ball where I wanted to score, right? But in that 10 years that you were developing that skill, here's a secret skill that you were also developing. The ability to do hard things, right? That's another skill. And when you develop this ability to do hard things, then it's going to be easier to do hard things the more you go, right? I mean, like it's impressive, right? When you have a guy all the way over there, and then you have the baskets all the way over here, and he was practicing this skill, but also the thing that you get when it comes to hard work is that you develop the skill to do hard things, right? When you do hard work, you get better at it. So you develop the skill to do hard things. So, when you put the ball in one hoop that you want it in, then, that's why the next hoop that you put it in, that you want to put it in, it's going to be easier, I mean, I think about like Kanye West when it comes to this. He got really good at producing beats and blah, 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 and, making music. And then that was a grind in itself, like he made the music, he got really good at doing that, but he also was getting good at doing hard things, at becoming the person he wanted to be. And when he became the person he wanted to be, and he wanted to become another version of himself or a different kind of person, it was easier because he already knew how to become one different kind of person, right? And so when he started making music, and he put the ball in that basket, then he saw fashion, and he was like, he wanted to put the ball in that basket. But since he was practicing putting the ball in the first basket, he was already going to be good at putting the ball in the second basket. And we're not talking about basketball, you know what I'm saying? Damn. How long is this? I don't even know. But I'm just ranting and ranting and ranting. I mean, another thing is just also consistency. I mean, I think right now it's like, imagine if I just kept on ranting, like, every day or every 2 days. And it's like, and it's hard to do this, it's hard to be consistent in something where it's like, you don't even actually know. But if I just keep on doing this, so I'm trying to say, if I keep on ranting, however good of a skill that is, anyone can rant, whatever, who gives a shit.
But if I keep on ranting, then it's going to be easier to keep on ranting. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's a talent in itself. I was saying like the other day, it's like, it's like, when am I actually good at it? I mean, shit, here's a skill, bro. I'm good at actually ranting. When I don't care what I'm actually saying, well, not completely not caring what I'm actually saying, but when I just let my brain run, then I just like, it just starts to run. When you run, you don't really think about running. When you walk, you don't really think about putting one foot in front of the other. You just kind of do it. If you think about walking, you're going to be a lot slower when you walk. If you think about running, you're going to be a lot slower when you run. So the whole thing is just like, you just, and there are skills where it's like, walking's easy, and the thing about walking is like, well, I never had to think about walking, but like my, oh my gosh, but my, however year old self was thinking about, like my 3-year-old self was thinking about walking. And, when it comes to things that you actually want to get good at, the first year or two, you're going to have to think about it. And it's just like, that's just the way it works. Because, I mean, that's, for everything. You got to think about it first. But there are some things where it's just like, it just depends what you care about. It depends what you care about. And sometimes it doesn't depend what you care about. And I'm saying that where it's like, say I don't care about basketball, but no, even at the end of the day, like I care about the game enough to try and get better at it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, I want to walk. I'm going to keep on walking. I want to play basketball. And not even I want to play basketball. Well, actually, that is the thing. It's like, I want the opportunity to shoot basketball. I want to be good enough to just like play and just like horse around and just like do whatever and just like be good enough to actually just play the game. The only way I'm going to do that is by stealing the ball from my teammates and being way too overconfident and arrogant in myself and ball hog and being a dick and an asshole about it. And everyone's going to be like, he's such an asshole. But at the end of the day, if I'm an asshole for like a year or two, then but here's the thing. I'm an asshole and a dick, but I'm an asshole and a dick who's getting better, And I'm probably going to get a lot better being an asshole and a dick. And this comes down also to morals again, like what I was saying. Sometimes you do need to cut corners. Actually, you don't need to cut corners really on anything, but if you are giving yourself a time limit, or, and we all have a time limit, we all have a time limit. And so sometimes you just want to cut corners because sometimes it's good to cut corners, because you're saving yourself time. And you're going to have to reap the consequences later. It's like, oh, that guy was a real asshole to me earlier in life. But, who cares? Cut them off, If you don't want to be my friend then you don't have to be my friend now. But it's like, what I'm saying is like, well, at least I'm in a position where I can cut that person off, and I don't even need to care about that person, and that person doesn't need to care about me. I mean, here I am. I achieved my goals, and it's like they can do whatever they want. I achieved my goals. I'm not saying that's all that matters because, I mean, that's the thing where it's like when you do OnlyFans, it's like, oh, well, you got the money. And it's not, that's the only thing that matters. It's just like, whatever you did to get where you are gonna have to live with the consequences of how you got there. I think a good example would be like Luke from Outdoor Boys. He's one of the most beloved content creators on planet Earth, bro. It's like he got, what's it called? I don't know. But think about he became successful in his 40s. I mean, but it took a lot of time to get there. And it was just multiple things. And, you can think about this however way you want. But it's like, for first 20 years or whatever, he was raised in wilderness in Alaska. And then he got really good. And, it's just getting secondhand nature. And then I think he became like a lawyer later hand and blah, blah, blah. And whatever. And this and that. But... And it seems, I don't know. I wasn't there, and so I can't really speak on like if he cut corners or not, but seems like he took the slow route, right? He took the slow route to success, at least being very successful, being famous and successful. He could have made it as a lawyer. He could have done whatever. He seems like a pretty happy guy, even if he never made it. But I'm sure the money that he's getting right now, and well, I think he's not really too happy with the fame he's getting, because I think that's why he quit. But the point is, it's like, if you want, I don't know, that's another thing. I mean, he didn't really want to be, I don't know. I can't really speak on that. I don't know if he wanted to be successful, or if, he wanted to be a little famous, maybe like 100,000, like where he had like fans recognize him, like maybe every like once a month or something like that, a manageable level. But he became big enough where it's like, it became a problem, it became a problem. So that's its own thing. But this is me guessing. He took the slow route. He took first 20 years, then blah, blah, blah. And then he just got, he just developed skills slowly and slowly and slowly. And then he started making YouTube videos and like with his family, not caring about what he make it. But, he just got better at it, and, he just devoted the time, and the time paid off. So all that being said, it's like, finally, however old he is, I don't even know, looks like 40s, late 40s, early 40s, something like that, whatever. Probably early 40s. He looks like an early 40s type of guy. But, early 40s and he made it. But sometimes people just want to make it quicker, Sometimes, I mean, people are willing to put the work in, but also people are willing to cut massive corners, And it's like, you reap whatever corner you cut, you're going to have to pay for that corner later in some type of way. Like I said, if you did OnlyFans, and you're madly successful, well, you cut a pretty gigantic corner. And that corner wasn't a corner. You kind of cut a piece of yourself off, and you're kind of sacrificing a piece of yourself, because when you think about it, it's like, okay, I just kind of sold my body. I sold my privacy almost. I sold my sex life. I sold so much of myself, my morals, my whatever, blah, 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 all for money, And now, sure, you have the money, but, you're an OnlyFans creator, and there's not much respect for that. You can hang around people who are the people who did what you did, or people who have made similar, or who have cut similar corners, and then you're just like, okay, you can cut out all the people who think it's like, oh, dude, what? Why would you start doing OnlyFans? Oh, dang, the thunder. It's like, why did you start doing OnlyFans? Well, objectively, in the world we live in, no matter what you think about objectivism or subjectivism or whatever, in the world we live in, people are going to be like, ooh, like, that is chopped, bro. That's hella chopped. Like, that's horrible. Like, I would never do that. I don't want any part of the porn industry or whatever. It's just like, that's bad. So, whatever. And that's another thing. It's like, you can surround yourself with players, or your teammates, and but also you kind of have to be like, people in this 7 billion, let's go back to the 7 billion V1 or whatever, Game of 21 or whatever. Let's go back to this game, and people are, if you made it, let's say you made it, and people know how you made it, which pretty much all the time, people that, you made it by doing something publicly. People know you for that. You're successful, blah, blah, blah. People are going to be wary of dealing with you, And I mean that in a bad way. Or, good or bad. When you're always going to have to face people in this game, right? You're always going to have to go up against people. But, the thing is you just have to be, like, people are going to be wary of where it's like, oh, that guy did this to win. That guy did what whatever it took. And I'm not talking about where it's like, oh man, he grinded, he did whatever it took. No, he did whatever it took in the worst way possible, right? I don't want to play that with that guy. I don't want to play with that guy or girl or whatever. I don't want to associate myself with them, because if I get seen playing a game of basketball with that guy, then people are going to be like, damn, like, why is that guy playing a game of basketball with that guy? You know, it's like, that guy did some weird shit, blah, blah, whatever. It's just weird, you know. You associate with one person, then that's going to affect your reputation no matter what, you know, whether it's a good or bad effect. The people you associate yourself with, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. And it's going to affect how you play the game, you know? It's like, if you have an opponent that you're going against, and you want to beat this opponent, right? And this opponent's doing dirty tricks and whatever, blah, 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 then, well, either two things. Either you start, you throw fire against fire, right? Or it's like, you know, he's doing dirty tricks, I'm going to do dirty tricks. You know, it affects the way that you play. Or unless you're just so far up in skill level of that person, where it's like, this guy's doing dirty tricks, but I can still beat his ass because I'm this talented, you know? And, you know, people love to see that, because it's like, you know, he overcame that person, you know, he you know, he didn't stoop to his level. And it's hard not to stoop to people's levels sometimes, because, you know, not everyone's that talented, you know, and you just want to win. And so it's just like, you get faced with an opponent, and it's just like, damn, you know, I don't know if I'm going to win this unless, you know, I start maybe doing a little dirty tricks myself. So it's just like, who you play with, who are your teammates, you know, how many shots you put up, blah, 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 who you associate with. That's just a big thing. That's a big thing. I don't know. Yeah, bro. I don't know. You just have to be careful who you associate yourself with. I don't know. I think that's really all I have to say. That rant went on for a long time. But honestly, you know, when you just start ranting, it's like you learn more. I think there's actually... Here's the thing, you know, I just started ranting, and I just started not caring what I thought about. And here's another thing, like, okay, I'm going to bring these two thoughts together. The thought that I haven't said and the thought that I have said so far. Remember the thing that I just said, but here's another thing. Say you want to get better at writing poetry, you know, what did that guy say? I don't know who said this or whatever, but he said, write 1,000 poems, right? No, don't even care what you're writing about. Don't even care what you're writing about. And y'all probably know where I'm going with this. But don't even care what you're writing about. Just write 1,000 poems, you know. It's like, one of them is bound to be good. I low-key lost the other thing I was saying. Oh, yeah. Well, about, like, I just start ranting, right? And I just start ranting, and I'm not even caring what I'm saying, to a certain extent. I don't even care what I'm saying. And I start saying so much garbage, or like, you know, whatever you classify as garbage. But I put out so much garbage where it's like, you know, there's a diamond in the rough somewhere, you know, and it's like, and maybe the thing is where it's like, you know, you put out, I keep on doing this, and, you know, once every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I say something that's like, damn, like that's actually pretty real. Well, the more I start doing, like, the more I, like, do that, it's the better I'm well, you know, I have to be intentional about it too, but the better I'm gonna get at saying stuff that it's like, damn, like, that's actually real. I don't know, just a thought. And remember, I'm not talking about basketball here, but, like, when I would just start, like, yapping, like, honestly, the more I think about basketball now, it's like, damn, I don't know, that kind of goes with a lot of things. It's the thing of where it's like, you take something you care about, and you know it really well. You know a skill, or you know, like, whatever you like, you know, say you like playing golf or guitar or tennis, or like you just like science or whatever thing you like, you know, and you understand it, and you know how to get better at it. You know how to deal with it. You understand it. You know, you're patient with it. Or like, say, working out too. It's like, you're patient with it, you know how it works and the understandings of it, then it's like you realize, well, it's like I know how to get better at this. I know what I'm doing with this. The hell? I know what I'm doing with this. Um, and a lot of the times, when you know how to, like, when you know how something works in, like, a skill that you like, you can apply it to a lot of other things. You know, it's like, there's just one girl that I knew, and it's like, say for a Bible study, for example, you know, it's like, the Bible is uh, pretty objective when it comes to just about everything that it talks about. But there are some areas, I mean, there's room for subjectivism, right? There's room where it's like, and I mean subjectivism in the way where it's like, oh, you know what? I relate to this in a different way. And it's because of my past experiences that this verse speaks to me more than, you know, this verse speaks to you or whatever. It's just because it's like, you know, something so well where it's like, okay, this thing makes sense to me because I know this thing. And it's like, you know, it's just like in and out of the brain, in and out of the brain. And so it's like when you relate like one thing like to life and like how to get better at that thing, and not like you take it literally, but you take um you know, the metaphors of one thing and you apply it to another thing. It's like, oh, that's how you get better at that, or like that's how you do that. But you know, you can still understand that and still not do it because you're too afraid to do it. So I mean, that's what you have to do. You know, it's like if you want to get better at basketball, then you just got to stop caring about how everyone else looks at you and how you play the, well, not completely how you play the game, but you know, it's still, I would say my advice is, you know, this is pretty standard advice, but you know, um don't care about what others think about you, but you still need a good reputation. That's my advice. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, like don't care. Uh, don't care what other people think about you, right? And it's just like, if you want the opportunity, then you got to make the opportunity yourself, and you just got to steal the ball from your teammates, and you got to ball hog, you got to do this and that, and blah 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 blah. And so yeah, yeah. Because a lot of times people aren't gonna give you a chance if they think you're trash, and you're gonna stay trash if you never get the ball. So, all that being said, I mean, in life, you know, it's like you just gotta face it, and it's like, you know, it's like you can understand all this and be like, well, you know, like now I know what I'm doing wrong and how I'm doing it, and I know what I need to be doing, but you know, it's like the all these lessons and everything, you know, have been said 1,000 times, but it's just like I know what I need to be doing, but with all things, you just have to have the courage to do them. You know, and some things take a little courage, some things take no courage at all, and some things, the things you usually want, take a lot of courage. So, yeah, it's whatever.